Hey everyone, welcome back with Beano Mac, where today we're going to continue our playthrough of Nicktoon's Kart Racer, or Nickelodeon Kart Racers, my bad. And playing it on the Nintendo Switch, the original one, of course, you know. Can't go for Switch 2 these days. You know, gotta keep up appearances. But that said, you know, I am SpongeBob on the player 1 side, and of course, you know, on the player 2 side, we got, you know, joined by my man here, Sulu64. Why don't you say something funny?
Once when I was 7 years old, I sat on a banana. And of course, that changed my life.
Right. Anyway, so, we're just, as usual with this series, we're just going to get straight into the question of the day. And today's question of the day is, what is the best character in Nickelodeon history? I don't know. What do you think there, Subaru?
I mean, a high-ranking one for me is definitely Patchy the Pirate from SpongeBob. He was always pretty good. Almost made the fillers sometimes better than the actual episodes.
That's kind of crazy. That's something I never expected to hear from you.
Yeah. I think my favorite one is either the original Christmas one or the one where Patchy and Potty are trying to prove that the future and the past times, which one's better.
Christmas who?
Or Christmas what?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a lot of good possible answers for that. I mean, I feel like it's kind of cliche to have to go with SpongeBob, but at the same time, I mean, who better? You know? I mean, he's pretty much the icon of not really even just Nickelodeon at this point, but I mean, in a lot of ways, you might even be able to say he might be the icon of cartoons at this point. You know, I think the argument's still there for like Mickey Mouse or whatever, but as far as the most popular one, I mean, you gotta go with SpongeBob, right?
Yeah. I mean, really, that's the thing with Mickey Mouse. He's been kind of stagnant. He's especially going to stay in that position after the best era of Mickey Mouse ended, when the Paul Rudish series of sorts came to an end.
I'm not really familiar too much with Disney and Mickey Mouse in that era, so what do you mean by that?
It was a revitalization during the 2010s. It was basically, it was Mickey, but he actually had character. Essentially, think of it as Mickey with more modern animation and writing. And he's actually allowed to emote a little bit.
So, like, what was the shows they was involved in?
It was basically just a bunch of, you know, classical style, just random 10-minute, or more like 7-minute long shorts.
I see. Yeah, I always thought the most modern thing with Mickey Mouse was like the Mickey Mouse, I think it was like Clubhouse or something like that, with the hot dog, diggity dog thing.
Yeah. I think that ended in like, must have been 10 years at this point.
Well, that would be mostly, yeah, it'd be like 2015 if that's what you're saying.
Yeah. I feel like Wayne was also, you know, he was a good Mickey actor. But I feel like I haven't heard much of the Dude guy, so I don't know if he did a good job. But, you know, also speaking of the Paul Rudish sorts, Chris Diamantopoulos is probably my favorite Mickey.
Honestly, I just kind of, like I said, I don't really watch Disney that much or anything like that, but I just kind of figured they all were doing the same voice.
Yeah, but it is different, you know. Some of them go higher, some of them, you know, Walt Disney, the original voice, you know, he had a little bit of a husk in him. You can really add a lot of differentiation in even a simple voice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd probably have to be one of those things where I'd like look it up. Like, I'm sure they have some sort of, you know, some YouTube compilations or something like that as comparisons for it, but Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like whenever people talk about Mickey, like, they always have that very distinct voice. Like, even I remember, on, like, To Catch a Predator or whatever, they had, like, the guy, like, they called him, like, the Mickey Mouse guy or whatever, that was the pedophile. And yeah, his voice was pretty crazy. It really did sound like Mickey Mouse. It'd be pretty funny if it wasn't such a sad and crazy situation.
Oh, see you at the game, so. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think actually look at it now, you're right about, I think it was in a previous video you said like they use the same racetracks, but they just, you know, they just put like slime in them. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but you can definitely tell they're using the same assets at the very least, you know, like obviously we passed SpongeBob and Squidward and Patrick's house and stuff like that. There's the Krusty Krab, which I don't know how the chum bucket isn't directly across from it, but guess these guys didn't do the research, huh?
No, they didn't.
I don't know. I do like the jellyfish that are just kind of hanging around though. I'll give them that.
Yeah, but when they get that big though?
I don't know. They got the king jellyfish, and I don't know. I mean, I think it works, you know. I think it kind of works for this. Man, this game loves hitting me with things while I'm in midair. It doesn't matter if it's a gap or if it's, you know, just kind of like a basic ramp jump. This game loves hitting me in midair. I can tell you that.
Brutal.
That's rough, buddy. Yeah, speaking of jellyfish, I see, you know, they're crowding on your screen. Isn't that convenient for me?
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't use the jellyfish as a more offensive item though. I mean, the whole thing is you know, they're just bees. They sting people all the time.
Yeah, I think that, I think in the second one, like, for some reason they swapped around like, how all the items work. And I think, like, the jellyfish, I don't know if it's, like, called king jellyfish or what. But, I think the jellyfish just turned into, like, the blue shell from Mario Party, where, like, it targets first place and hits them up. Okay, Mario Kart. And, yeah, it targets who's ever in first place and just hits them automatically.
Yeah. Jellyfish, I mean, it better be that blue jellyfish, though.
Old no name?
Yeah.
It is not. But, looks like I'm kind of winning pretty, handedly here at this point, eh, old, Sulu?
Unfortunately, yes.
That's what I thought. You know, you got me in the first two Grand Prix. Now it's time for me to even things up here. Ooh, and I went up a level here, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna ignore this victory lap thing, though. We're just gonna go straight to the next race. You know, I'm not gonna subject you guys to that kind of nonsense.
By the way, guys, I hope you like these really smooth transitions between the levels.
Oh yeah. You know, I gotta point out the transitions, right?
Yeah, to at one point.
Yeah, I guess so. Alright, so it looks like we got another stay within the arrows level. It's interesting, it seems like they all kind of follow the same pattern at this point. Whereas, you know, you do a regular, then you do the slime one that may or may not have the elimination style like we did last round, and then you get the arrows before doing one more that's just a regular. Interesting too. I mean, they have the landmines, but I feel like they never really come into account for me. But I don't know. How many times you get hit by those landmines?
I don't know how many times I've been hit by mines. I don't even know if I've been hit by it once, honestly. It's also weird that they are there. It's like those stereotypical Olsen mines that you just see everywhere.
Well, I think that's what they were based off of, and it makes sense to a degree with SpongeBob being a SpongeBob themed cup. Although this is the sewers, which I don't know. I gotta say, like, I think the slime really does work well with like the sewer atmosphere here.
Yeah. You know, it does make sense now. I think about it. That the main leader of the Ninja Turtles, the guys who live in the sewers, is a rat.
And I'm sure there's no, you know, sure there's no irony there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that would have worked in the stereotype is a crocodile, but that would have been weird.
I don't know. I'm not a big TMNT guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a crocodile like villain or, you know, teammate or something like that.
Yeah. There's this weird thing in one of the Michael Bay movies where they have like, they explain Bebop and Rocksteady as like Shredder was able to open up their dormant animal instincts or some dumb nonsense like that.
Is that the one where I think Bebop was played by Sheamus or something like that from WWE?
Potentially.
Yeah, I think it was. This was like a 2015 film or something.
Around that time.
Are those the ones that had like Megan Fox in them?
Yes, and she was not very good at acting in that one.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people were upset about her being in Mortal Kombat 1 recently, saying that she completely butchered one of the characters, Natara, in it. So yeah, I mean, maybe she's just not a very good actress.
I mean, she does explain those Old Spice commercials. She's basically just that girl that Teenage You adored over.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me. I just never really thought she was like as crazy hot as everybody said she was, but maybe I like more natural girls. Ooh, Glove Universe and not Glove World.
Yeah, I don't even know if they've really mentioned Glove World in really recent SpongeBob.
I don't know. I remember I was watching the 24/7, you know, all day, every day SpongeBob marathon on Nickelodeon that wasn't actually a 24/7, all day, every day marathon of SpongeBob, as there were interruptions to that to showcase other shows that nobody gives a flying poop, a fat stinky duke about. But I do remember seeing a few episodes where, like, I think it was, they introduced Glove Universe like around like 2016 for like one episode, and then I think they just didn't return to it like any other time after the fact. It was Glove World, so I don't know why this game kind of went with Glove Universe instead of Glove World, but I don't know. I'd have to assume that like Glove Universe was still the most recent thing at the time, and that, you know, maybe they were thinking they were going to go with Glove Universe as the actual new setting, which would make sense. It'd be a nice bit of continuity, but
Yeah, the episode was weird because wasn't the plot like they thought Glove World was gonna get shut down for good and destroyed, but they just opened up a new Glove Universe?
yeah, I do remember that, and I think that almost at the end of it, like they chained themselves up to like the doors or something of Glove World, which I mean I did tear it down. Yeah, there we go again. Hit. Oh my god. Alright, this is going terrible. But yeah, I think as, you know, it was like the whole thing was Glove World was getting demolished, and then at the end the whole big joke was they introduced Glove Universe, and which is a one-off joke.
I mean, those cartoons do love their one-off humor.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, there's like 7 cutaway-based headcanons about Meg Griffin that we just have to assume. Like, you know, the whole heart head thing or the Megatron. Because they're never discussed ever again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cartoons, I guess. You know, it is what it is. Although it's fun to speculate and debate given on the little details they give us in shows. Even if it's not meant to be taken seriously. Jeez, I don't even know. I'm looking at this right now. I'm not even sure if it's possible to catch up to you. And I don't like that possibility.
I mean, anything could happen.
Right. I gotta say, yeah, this is actually a pretty decent map in my opinion. Very detailed, has nice variety to it. You know, an iconic setting in the show.
It's like that random pier level from Battle for Bikini Bottom that was in Goo Lagoon.
I don't know, I get what you mean, but I think it reminds me more of Chum World from Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. I actually really like that game, but a lot of people don't. But in all fairness, it did seem like the game could have been like 10 times better than what they wanted it to be, but they just didn't have the development time or, you know, I think the budget to really do what they wanted to do.
Yeah. That's the hard part about these licensed games. And games in general for PS2 era, you know. Some of them haven't really aged the best. It was an experimental time.
True, and I think it was even supposed to be like on N64 at one point.
In 2002?
Yeah, I think it started development like a lot earlier and then it got moved to like the new systems. But maybe it was PlayStation 1, I can't remember. But either way, it looks like I did come back. So thank you so much for playing there, chump. But that said, you know, I am Le Victor today.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for this video for the most part, guys. So thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out next week's video on Licensed Thursday. We're going to continue to do another Grand Prix. It's going to be the Krang Cup, I believe. That said, though, above all else, please remember to have a nice day.
Time.